Premabhadyavyachavesundaraय Tasmai Mahapremarasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Bhaktya-vihina aparavarakshe Chilpa-sripamaritam kamati Kripa-maritam sharangrapala Vinde namaste Charanaravinda Vinde namaste Charanaravinda Govinda Namo Paramaravedi Govinda Namo Paramaravedi Govinda Namo Paramaravedi Govinda Namo Paramaravedi Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Govinda Namo Paramaravedi Shyam Sundar Shikanda Shikhar Smaha Sumulim Manohara Radhikar Sukham Mama Kripanidhe Supriya Charna King Purintu Tavaivasmi Najivami Kayavana Jivityaya Devi Tam Namam Charnatikam. First of all, I offer my sustained Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadiya Paramaradhatama Guru Pada Padma Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotara Sri Rupanugachari Varya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Vanchakalpatarus, Vasindubheva, Gitaram Paramaguru. Srinath Chakravarti, in his Chaitanya Maktamanjusa, he has given the essence of the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in one verse. Radho Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayasta Dham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasna Vadu Vardena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumato Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matapidam Tatradara Napara. He's saying, I have the greatest honor for the opinion, the realized opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is, Radha Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas. The supreme object of everyone's worship is Bhagavan, but in his original form, Swayam Rup. Ananyapakshiki Rupam Swayam Rupa Sauchate. That form which does not depend on any other form for his sweetness or opulence. But all other forms of the Lord depend on him for their sweetness and opulence. That is Swayam Rupa Krishna. That is Brajendra Tanaya, the son of Nanda Maharaj, the son of the king of Braja. He is supremely worshipable. And as Krishna is worshipable, so his Dham, Vrindavan, Viraj Govardhan, Jamuna Devi, Keshigat, Bangsivat, Seva Kunj, Dev Samir, Shama Kund and Radha Kund. See, Krishna's Dham is as worshipable as Krishna himself. So see, Krishna is so worshipable, what is the best way to worship him? Ramyaka Chidupasna Brajabadu Vargena Yak Kalpita. The Riti, Prema Riti, Prema Niti, the methods of loving service of the Braja Gopis. This is the best method of serving, pleasing Sri Krishna. How do you know? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the perfect, immaculate, spotless Praman evidence for all of these things. And that Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us Prema Pumato Mahan, the telos of our existence, our ultimate purpose is to attain Prem for that Krishna in Braja. This is Mahaprabhu's opinion. We have the greatest respect for this, and whatever is contrary to that, then we can never accept it. Now, before Mahaprabhu, people knew there are 18 Puranas. They are great, Padma Purana, Vishnu Purana. But the speciality of Srimad Bhagavatam had not been firmly established. That is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done. Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramanam Amalam. Mahaprabhu taught Krishna Bhakti Rasa Swarup Sri Bhagavata Sarva Veda Shastra Hoite Paramahatva. This Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhakti Rasa Swarup. It is the embodiment of transcendental, eternal, pure, supernatural rasa, the divine mellows. Therefore, it is the highest of all the Vedic literatures. In fact, Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvasrai Pratisloke Pratyakre Nana Artakre. The Srimad Bhagavatam is same as Krishna himself. It is Sri Krishna's Vanmoy Murti, Sri Krishna's sound incarnation. So, just as Sri Krishna is the ashray, the shelter of all existence, so similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is the shelter of all existence. So it's essential that we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Pratishloke pratyakare nana artakai. In every verse, no. In every word, no. In every syllable, there are many, many meanings. As Krishna is unlimited, the meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam are also unlimited. So in the end of Srimad Bhagavatam there, Sri Sutta Goswami glorifying Bhagavatam, he said, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Samekalamanam Jnanam Tatra Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkamamaviskritam Tatshrinvan Supatan Vicharna Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyan Naraha. It's very profound. First, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam. It is a spotless Purana. That means that in other Puranas, something has been told by Vyasadeva. He did not make any mistake. But sometimes he's told some story or history for Loka Sangraha, Lokasangra means to attract the minds of the common people and engaging them in some activity for their benefit. Whereas this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the Paramahansi Samhita. It is not for collecting, fascinating and entertaining the minds of the common people, and just as children you have to give a pralobhana, you have to give some incitement, like a bribe. Prakshava Vedoyam Balanam Manusashanam. Krishna said, the Vedas describe me in indirect terms because the common people are like children and they have to be enticed by some rewards to engage them in activities for their upliftment. So that type of approach has been used, tactical approach, in other Puranas. But Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the Amala Purana, completely spotless. Dharmaha Prajita Kaitavatra Paramo Nematsaranam Satam Vedam. It is understood by the Parama Nematsara, those who are completely free from envy, completely free from duality, the Paramahamsas. Therefore, Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very dear to the devotees, to the Vaishnavas. Yasmin Paramahamsam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate. The Srimad Bhagavatam presents the knowledge which is sung by the Paramahamsas. Who are the Paramahamsas? Like our Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. Gopi Pavar Samrita Dilahari Kalola Bhatno Mohu Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. Those Paramahamsas, they are diving again and again in the endless ocean of the waves of the ocean of the bhavs of the gopis of Vrindavan. Srimad Bhagavatam is for them. Tatra jnana viraga bhakti sahitam naishkamya mahaviskritam. Third line we're discussing. Tatra jnana raga bhakti sahitam. Here sahitam means that this Srimad Bhagavatam is the Vaishnava Sahitya. Sahitya, the general meaning of Sahitya is literature. The word Sahitya is formed by the Sahita means together, and Shna together becomes Samhit, Shnya together becomes Sahitya. So the word Sahita implies samsaraga, coexistence, that multiple things are perfectly existing together with each other. So Sahita means samsara, coexistence. Sahita also means maitri, friendship, closeness. And Sahita means Susanivista Vakya Parampara, a beautifully arranged sequence of sentences. So generally people take the word Sahitya just to mean literature, because literature means a beautifully arranged series of sentences. But in Sahitya, these other meanings are there: Sansarga, coexistence, and friendship. And Sahitya, hit means hitakaraka, that which gives heat, benefit, that which is beneficent, that which bestows the highest benefit on others, that is called Sahitya. So when a person, a pure devotee, hears the word Sahitya, they take it in Vidvat Rudivriti, meaning that the word Sahitya immediately causes the appearance in the heart of one place which is an abode of multiple entities who are all harmonized and experiencing the vichittata, different varieties of vilas. That is the meaning of Sahitya. So, therefore, any scripture, any text, or any interpretation of scripture which comes to the impersonal conclusion that everything is one, can never be called Sahitya. Because if everything is one, how can things coexist? How can things have friendship? How can things be together? Because in one there are no two things even, what to speak of 3, 4 or many varieties. So that literature that does not come to the conclusion that there is an eternal spiritual world filled with unlimitedly beautiful, wonderful, relishable entities who are constantly engaged in vilas, that cannot be called Sahitya, it can only be called Rohitya. Rohitya means death, emptiness, nothing. Neti. It is empty. So we don't accept that that is literature. So here in Srimad Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami is saying, tap the Parahamsam ekmam jnanam param giyate tatra jnana viraga bhakti sahitam. This is a Sahitya. And this Sahitya is jnana viraga bhakti sahitam. Naiskanya viskritam. Jnana, viraga and bhakti. Here jnana means sambandha jnana. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is the Darshanik Sahitya. It is a philosophical text which gives us knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. So it is the Sambandha Jnana Sahitya. So Tatra Jnana Viraga. Here Viraga means detachment from this world, and Vishishta Rag, especially following the Rag of the eternal associates of Braja, by which one becomes completely detached from this world. So Tatra Jnana Viraga. Here Viraga means that Srimad Bhagavatam is the Abhideya Sahitya. It teaches us the actual path of how to attain perfection. So Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam. And here Bhakti means Prema Bhakti. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the Prayojan Sahitya as well. So Srimad Bhagavatam is really literature, not Rahitya like others. And it gives us exact Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Tattva and Prayojan. Relationship, the process, and the ultimate purpose also. So, Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naiskarmyam Aviskritam. In this Srimad Bhagavatam, Naiskarmya has been discovered. So someone will say, Naiskarmya means how to become free from karma. So you're following Varnashram Dharma, but without any attachment to the result, and you're offering the result to Vishnu, so your work is not producing any karma, so it's not Naishkarmya. No, here Naishkarmya means the Prema Lila. There is no karma there. Krishna does not act to enjoy the fruits of his activities. Madbhaktanam vidodatam karomi vividakre. Everything he does is just to give happiness to his devotees. He's not bound. He is completely free, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And karma is anitya. It is temporary. It is achit. It is jad, unconscious. And it is nirananda. There's no bliss there. But this lila is a sachidananda lila. So here, Naishkarmya means the praying vilas of Sri Krishna. Therefore, Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam, this Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very dear to the Vaishnavas. Tat Shinvan Supatan Vicharna Pro Bhaktya Vimuchanara. First, Tat Shinvan, one should hear it. First, listen from the lips of pure Vaishnavas who have realized this. Tat Shinvan. Then, Supatan. Then Pat means read and recite yourselves. Pat means reading and reciting. But here's Supat, beautiful recitation. Our reading and reciting is beautiful after we've heard first. If we hear first, and then we recite and study under the guidance of a Shuddha Vaishnava, then it's called Supat. Beautiful study. Tatshinvan Supatam Vicharna. Then Vicharna, deliberate upon it. So Vichar means not just deliberating on it in a casual way, but with ekagrata chitta, with one pointed attention. become completely lost and absorbed in the contemplation of the profound message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And what will happen? Pro-bhaktya vimuchyannara. Every living being will then attain para-bhakti, transcendental bhakti. So in this way, at the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami has very profoundly expressed the characteristics of this Srimad Bhagavatam. Now a question comes. We want to attain the Nitya Seva of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Nitya Leela of Radha Krishna is not expressed directly or openly. It's there in Sanket. That's a topic for another. Maybe next time I come we can discuss how the Astakaliya Leela of Radha Krishna is into that throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. But not this time. Today the subject is that in Srimad Bhagavatam directly we find that Krishna's Prakat Leela, the pastimes that he manifested when he appeared in this world, have been discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. So why? First of all, we see in the Prakat Leela that Krishna, he has very loving pastimes with Braj Gopis who are married to others. Pati Sutan Vaya Bratri Bandavan Ativalangate Achitagata. Gopis say in the Gopi Geet, "Oh Krishna, we have left our husbands and our family members and the children, not our own children, but the ones who are babysitting for the neighbor. We have left everything for you, and now you have abandoned us." So Srimad Bhagavatam describes Sri Krishna's the Parakiya Leela in this world. So some people, they have such an interpretation, Prema Rasa Nirjas Kurite Ashodan Ragamaga Bhakti Loki Krite Pracharan, that Krishna comes to this world to taste the essence of Prem Rasa, to relish the Parakiya Rasa, because the Parakiya Rasa is only here but not there. Some people interpret in this way. Especially because in Chaitanya Charitamrita it said, Vaikunta Janahi Jai Jai Leela Rapacha Say Leela Karibo Jate More Chamatka. Krishna said, I will come and I will appear in the world and I will perform pastimes which are even not known in Vaikunta. Pastimes by which even myself I become amazed. So on the basis of statements such as this, even within our Gaudiya line, throughout history, from time to time, and even today, you can find some scholars. They say the Parakiya Leela is only here. At the end, Radha Krishna are married, and then they go to the Nitya Leela. And there, in Golok Vrindavan, there's no Parakiya Leela there. But again and again, great acharyas come into this world. Urupa Goswami. Then again, it was lost. Srila Vishnu Thakur came, and they re-establish the importance of Parakiya Rasa, not only in this world, but it is eternally there as the highest mood of the spiritual world also. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Pad says, Asta Vingsa Chatur Yuga Joparera Shesh Vrajaras Hiti Hoi Krishna Pakashe. At the end of the Dwapara Leela, in the 28th millennium of the life of the 7th Manu, that is Vaivasvata Manu, then Krishna Pakashe, he manifests himself, how? Brajera Sohite, along with Braja. In other words, people think Braj is here and Golok is there. But inside that Golok is the outer aspect of the Krishna Lok planet. And within that there is Braj there also. So Parakiya Bhav is in Braj. There is Swakya in Golok. But there is a Braj inside that Golok, called Golok Vrindavan, and there is Parakiya there also. So Brajera Sahite, along with the transcendental Braj of Golok, Sri Krishna manifests that here under Boma Vrindavan. So that's the nature of this Braja, that Parakiya Bhav is there. Parakiya Bhave Ati Rasaya Ullas, Braja Bina Ihanya Anyatra Nahi Vas. In the Parakiya Bhav, there's Ati Rasa Ullas. There's a great expansion and brilliance of Madhurya Rasa, which is not present in the married mood. And that paraki above, Braja Bina Iyanya Anyatra Nahibas. It is only in Braja. So the Swartiyavadis, they say, yes, it's only in Braj. Braj is only here. But in the previous verse we showed that actually Krishna, the Braj here is a manifestation of the highest Braj in Goloka Vrindavan. Now, if the Paraki above is there and the Paraki above is here also, then we're still left with some answers, some questions that we need to answer. Because if Krishna said, I will come to this world and I'll perform pastimes by which even I am amazed, which are not known in the spiritual world, then what is it that he comes to do here if it's not that he has to come here for the Parakiras? What is the extra thing that he experiences here? So Srila Jiva Goswami Pad, he has said, quoting one verse of the Padma Purana, he said, Sudavat Krishna Chandraha Jai Sisi Radha Govinda Juki Jai Sudavat Krishna Chandraha. Krishna Chandra is like Suda. Suda. The word Suda is a Sanskrit word. From this word Suda has come the English word soup. So Suda means soup. And Suda can also mean the person who makes the soup also. The cook. So Sudavat Krishna Chandra means that when Krishna comes to this world, he is like a soup maker. Because if you want to make a very delicious soup, there's a process, there's a sequence. First you'll have to chop the vegetables and then put them in the water and then cook them until they're becoming soft. And then you'll have to make the chawns, grind in the spices, and then fry with some ghee. And then at the right moment you have to add it and stir it and so on. And then give the garnish and other things. So there's a sequence in which you cook and mix the ingredients that in the end, when the person tastes the soup, magnificent. Yeah? So in the same way, in the spiritual world, Gopavesha Venukara Navakishanata, Krishna is eternally a Kishore. And he stays in Vrindavan and doesn't leave. And the Leela is going on every day. But when he comes to this world, Krishna tastes and causes others to taste such a rasa. Just like an expert cook who mixes the ingredients one by one to make a award-winning preparation. For example, first, Krishna is born in Gokul to Mother Yashoda. In his childhood, he's stealing butter. He is very naughty and charming all the Brajabasis. And in childhood, the Braja Gopis, also they have praying for him, but it's Samanya praying. As they come towards the end of the Pauganda Leela, the childhood pastimes, within that Samanya praying, general love and affection for Krishna, then the Samartha Rati begins to appear. Very intense romantic love for Sri Krishna. And when Sri Krishna especially dances on the head of Kaliya, that Purvarag Leela, the love of Braj Gopis is amplified so much it becomes very intense. And after dancing on the head of Kaliya, Sri Krishna comes onto the bank of the Jamuna. And when Gopis see him, they faint in ecstasy because he's decorated for the first time with the Kaustubha money. You see, Lord Narayan, he can appear with the Kaustubha money, but baby Krishna cannot appear with the Kaustubha jewel. It would not be human-like. So Yogamaya has hid his Kaustubha money, which is part of his eternal Swarup, in the treasury of the wives of Kaliya. So when the wives of Kaliya were worshipping Krishna, they were digging through their treasury looking for good things to give to him. And said, oh, I didn't know we had this. And so now when Krishna comes out from the water, he wasn't sunken in the water, because when he was walking from the island where he'd been fighting with Kalia. As he was walking, then the snakes were swimming on the water and putting their heads just below the surface. So he was walking on the heads of the snakes like this, across the water. And he came on the bank of the river, and as he walked past the Braj Gopis, now so beautiful, almost Kishore, with the Kaustubha money, decorated beautifully with all the silks and jewels from the treasury of Kalia, then all the gopis, one by one, they fell, fainting in ecstasy like plantain trees cut down by a hurricane. And from that moment, actually the Brijbasis, they were so attached to Krishna and they didn't want to go home, so they all camped on the bank of Jamuna at that time. Of course, the Kamsa's men set a fire. Krishna told them to close their eyes, and then the fire was gone, and they stayed there the night. And in the morning, when it was time to return to their villages, the gopis, they didn't even know which way to go. They were just so bewildered. And Krishna, seeing them, he felt such sympathy for them. He thought, now they can hardly live. They cannot function anymore. They're about to die. What can I do to help them? So then from that day, Krishna began to practice every day, playing his flute. The Venu Geet comes. It was Krishna out of sympathy for the condition of Braj Gopis, whose Purvarag had become so intense on that day at Kalirag. So gradually the time comes where Krishna, he cannot tolerate separation anymore, and Rasa Leela takes place. And then Akrura comes to Vrindavan and takes Krishna away. And there's an unspeakable separation. After some time, Sri Krishna sends Uddhav with a message for the gopis. After some time, gopis go to Kurukshetra and meet him for a moment, but return to Braj empty-handed. And in the end, Sri Krishna, he will return to Braja, and at that time, that meeting, Samriddhimat Sambhog, is so intense. Why? Nabi pralangena sambhoga pushtimashnute. Without separation, the joy of meeting cannot be nourished to its highest point. And so, because of the sequence of the Leela, then the final rasa which is relished in the Prakat Leela here is so delicious. So therefore he says, Sudhava Krishna Chandraha, his Leela unfolds in such a way that the sequence is like making soup, and the end result is very, very delicious. So this is why Krishna said, I will come to this world and perform pastimes even unknown in Vaikuntha, which not seen in Vaikuntha, by which even I am amazed. So now, actually, see Krishna himself, to relish this Leela, he must be in the Naravat Bhav. He cannot think, I am Bhagavan all the time, I am Bhagavan, I am in control of everything, because then there will be no rasa. In the Naravat Leela, Krishna is mainly Mugdha. He thinks, I'm the son of Nanda Maharaj. I'm a human boy with many frailties and problems also, because I am supposed to follow Dharma, but I just cannot check myself. I cannot stop myself from stealing from the neighbors. I cannot stop myself from stealing the clothes of Braja Gopis. So, if Krishna in his Leela is not in control, then who is in control? Yes, in the Braja Leela, see, Krishna has given the authority to Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi. Radesha Keli Prabhuta Vinoda Vinyasa Vihyam Brajavanditangrim Kripalutadya Vishavandhyam Shri Purnamasim Sirasa Namami. This is the Pranamatra to Purnamasi Devi. She is the Vinoda Vinyas Vigyam. She's expert in the science. She has realizations how to place the Leelas in such a way that it will give the greatest happiness to Radha and Krishna. Her lotus feet are worshipped by all the Brajavasis, Purnamasi Devi. Whatever she said, the Brajavasis consider to be not less authentic than the Vedas themselves. Purnamasi Devi, she is the mother of Sandipani Muni. So she was living in Ujjain. That is Avantipur, the same place where Krishna went to Gurukul. Before Krishna was born, she was living there. But her guru, who is the guru of Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi? Narad. Narad Muni told Purnamasi Devi, now you should go to Braja. So she went to Braj before Krishna was born. At that time, Nanda and Yashoda, they were quite elderly. And they still had no children. So all the Brijvasis were very worried. Who will be the heir to the throne? Who will be the next king of Braja? The Brijvasis were usually someone performs yagya so they can get a son. But in Braj, the Brijvasis were performing yagya so that Nanda and Yashoda could get a son. But Nanda Maharaj told Yashoda Devi, these yagyas are useless. They will never work. Why? Because in my dreams I see such a beautiful boy. More beautiful than Lord Narayan. And any karma kanda yagya, by that you can never get the son that I have seen in my heart. While Yashoda is crying, I have also seen in my dreams such a beautiful child. So they began to observe Ekadasi and Dwadashi Brats very, very strictly for 1 year. Now Yashoda came up with this good idea. Ekadasi is transcendental. By karma kandas you can get material things. But by following Ekadasi and Dwadashi, it will get to the inconceivable, unlimited spiritual results. So they began to do this. And as they were following these brats, one day, one very beautiful, white hair, and old but shining face and dressed in saffron cloth, one tapasvini, holding the hand of a beautiful young boy who looks so charming, like a miniature version of Narad Muni himself, just came walking into the village of Braja. Seeing the effulgence of these two persons, all the Brijvasis, they came out and they bowed down and they inquired, "Oh Bhagavati, fortunate lady, who are you?" And she said, "My name is Purnamasi Devi. And this is my grandson, Madhumanga. By my austerities and by my sadhan bhajan, I know, I am Trikalagya, I know past, present and future." So all the Brijvasis were very anxious. "Well, please tell us the future. Will Nanda and Yashoda have a son?" Purnamasi Devi said, "Yes. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya will have a very beautiful son who will give Ananda to the whole universe." Oh, then they all became relieved. So then shortly after that, then Krishna was born in Gokul. So this is the history of how Jogamaya Devi came to Braja. Who is Jogamaya Devi? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, Jogamaya Devi is the bij of Vikar in the Swarup Shakti. What does that mean? Bij means seed. Vikar means transformation. And Swarup Shakti is Krishna's spiritual energy, which manifests the entire spiritual world. When Sri Krishna has any desire in his heart, that desire is detected by Purnamasi Yogamaya Devi, she knows. And then, by her mystic power, because she's the Leela Shakti, she is the seed of Vikar, the entire spiritual world begins to move and transform in such a way that Krishna's desire will be fulfilled. This is the role of the Leela Shakti, Purnamasi Devi. So, Jogamaya knows how the pastimes will be successful. So all the parents in Braja, they were thinking, my daughter is so beautiful, who is qualified to be married to her? I think only the son of Nanda Maharaj is qualified. So all the parents in Braja, they wanted their daughters to be married to Krishna. So Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi saw what was going on. We cannot have this, it will be a disaster. Then Braja will become like a Dwarka. If Krishna is married to everyone. Not quite like Dwarka, but not in the highest. On the highest level. So then Purnamasi was meditating. In the meantime, in Mathura, the priest of Vasudev Maharaj, Gargacharya, he felt an intense urge. I want to go to Braj. And he got on a chariot and he was riding to Braja. And as he was going, what? I want to go, but why? Why? And as he came over the border into Braj, there he saw Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi. And seeing her, then he said, aha, I knew it must be something to do with you. Oh Bhagavati, what can I do for you? He said, yes, I have brought you here. I want you to go and visit all the families of all the young gopis of Braja. So when a Brahmin visits your house, then what happens? That one says, oh, Mahatmaji, can you make the horoscope, make my horoscope or make the horoscope of my family members? So in every house he visited, they asked him to make the horoscope for their daughters. And so Gargacharya, he made the horoscope of each gopi and the horoscope of Krishna, and he was looking at the compatibility, because it's important. Before we were married, you have to have a compatibility chart. Otherwise you may be entering into a minefield that you may regret for the rest of your life. So Gargacharya, he was looking at the charts, and he said, oh, this chart of your daughter is wonderful, so auspicious. And this chart of Krishna is wonderful, so auspicious. But when the two are put together, there is a problem. One of them may leave prematurely if they are married, according to the chart. So then all were disappointed and they could not have their daughters married to Krishna. So Krishna remained the most eligible bachelor in Braja. He was not married. And all the Braj gopis, their marriages were arranged to other gopis. And who did it? Yogamaya Devi, the Leela Shakti. When the gopis were told, oh, next week you have to go and live, because first the arrangements are made in the marriage, and then that's how they felt, exactly the same. First the marriages are arranged, and then after some time, then they have to actually go to the house of their in-laws with a procession and everything. So, when they were told, oh, next week you have to go, then gopis that almost died. How is it possible? And when it came up to the day before they were supposed to go, then the parents said, oh, it's been delayed till next month. And then they said, oh, on this day next month you have to go. And then when it came to almost that day, and again it was delayed. And this happened many times. So, it is exactly like in Vedic times, the kings, they would keep some young girls in the palace, little girls. And those little girls would be given a drop of poison every day. Not enough to kill them, just something they could just about manage, and the dose was increased. Until when they became very beautiful teenage women, then their whole bodies were so toxic that if they will just kiss someone, that person will die. So then the king could use them for honey traps and assassinations at the same time. Honey trap assassination. So, in the same way, if the gopis had to leave their parents' home and go to their sasural, to the in-laws' house, how can they do it? To go and live with another man. Their hearts are completely being given to Krishna. They will die at once. But because they were told, oh, next week you will go. It was like a poison. And then, oh no, you don't have to go. It was little poison. And then again, oh no, next month you have to go. It was another drop of poison. So when the day came, when it was actually the day to go, they did not die because they had the poisoning drop, 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 drop. So their tolerance had come to a higher level. So when the actual morning came, the day when they had to go to the house of their in-laws, then gopis could not tolerate it. So one gopi, covering her head with a veil, she snuck out of the house in the morning and she went alone through the forest. And she was finding her way to the bank of Kalyarad. Because that's the place where she first completely fell in love with Krishna, madly in love with Krishna. So she thought, oh, let me drown myself in the Jamuna there at Kalyarad. So when that gopi, her head covered, alone, silently through the forest, she arrived at Kalyarad and she looked and she saw there was another gopi with her head covered. And another one, and another one. And actually there were thousands of them. And they're all there. And they looked in each other's eyes. And then at that moment when they looked in each other's eyes, there was a great breaking of the tension. Why? Because every gopi's love for Krishna was secret. They never told anyone. But when they looked at each other's face, they could see the other person is so sad that they want to die today. They want to give up their life today. And so, just by their eyes, they said, you too? Yes, me too. And they all realized they were in the same position. So finally, the tension of that love that they had never spoken, they never dared to reveal to anyone, that tension, broken. You know, if you have a problem, if you share it with someone, it said, a problem shared is a problem halved. So they felt some relief there. But still, there was no solution to their situation of being forced to go and stay with another Purush, so-called Purush, another man. So then, Radhika, she held the hands of Lalita and Vishaka. And Lalita and Vishaka held the hands of Tunga Vidya and Indulekha, Ranga Devi, Sudevi, all Astasakis. Chandravali held the hands of Padma and Shaibya. And standing on the bank of Jamuna, Radhika prayed to Jamuna Devi, "Oh Jamuna Devi, we Sakis, who on this day will die together, kindly bless us, that we will be Sakis life after life." This is the meaning of the word Sakhi. Don't use this word Sakhi lightly. Sakhi means we live together or we die together. It was from this day that the gopis became in groups. Chandravali and her Sakhis, Shamla and her Sakhis, Radhika and her Sakhis. Radhika said, "Please accept us and let us be Sakhis lifetime after lifetime, and let us only be enjoyed by Krishna." And in this way, Radhika began to enter into the water of Jamuna, leading all the gopis into the water, up to their knees, up to their waist, up to their chest, up to their neck, and they were just about to all drown. And at that exact moment, there was Akashvani, a voice in the sky. "Oh, why are you doing this harsh act? Don't perform this harsh act." And at that very moment, Jamuna Devi appeared from the water in her goddess form, in her female form as the goddess Jamuna. But not in one form, in thousands of forms. She appeared to catch each gopi by the hand. And they were in a very state, like neither awake or dreaming or asleep, in a deep sleep. Like in a trance. And Jamuna, in thousands of forms, took the hands of each gopi and brought them back onto the bank. What's happening? Is this real? Have we died? Are we dreaming? And at that moment, Brinda Devi came there. And Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi came there. Speaking on behalf of all three, Yogamaya Devi said, "Myself, Purnamasi Devi, my assistant Brinda Devi, and Goddess Jamuna Devi, we three together, visibly or invisibly, will always help you You will never be touched by another man. You will only be enjoyed by Sri Krishna. Put faith in my words. And because Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi, she's as authentic as the Vedas in Braja. When the Braj Gopis heard this promise of Yogamaya Devi, then they were assured, they felt self-assured that they could stay alive. And then they returned to their homes, and then their husbands' families came and collected them, and then Radhika and her Sakhis, they moved to Yavat. From Varsana to Yavat. Otherwise, you think about it, how can Radharani leave Varsana and go to Yavat? It's not possible. She will die first. It was only by the aswas, by the faith and the assurance given by Yogamaya Devi. Otherwise, it could never happen. So Yogamaya Devi Purnamasi, she is very, very important. And of course, she arranged Yogamaya Mupasritaha. By the arrangement of Yogamaya later, all Braj Gopis, they met with Sri Krishna in the Rasa Lila. And there they had the chance to express their love. What is this love of Braj Gopis? Atmendriya Prativancha Tari Balikam Krishnendriya Pratiicha Dari Premanam. The desire to satisfy our own senses is called Kam, or lust. But the desire to satisfy the senses only of Krishna, not desire. All the senses are ravaged with an unquenchable thirst to please all the senses of Sri Krishna, which is newer and newer at every moment. This is Rag. So Gopi's praying is like this. Nijo Premanande Krishna Sevananda Bade Sandera Pratibhakte Hoy Mahakrodi. If in the Ananda, the joy of praying, the Braj Gopis feel so much ecstasy that their service to Krishna is impaired or interrupted, then they can become angry with their own ecstasy. They criticize their own ecstasy. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he doesn't give an example in Madhurya Rasa because he's promised, I will tell very confidential things, but in a hidden way, that those who are like camels chewing the thorns of material subjects will never taste it. But those who are like the cuckoo birds who eat the fresh mango buds, they will understand what I'm saying. So he gave an example. Angastambaram bamutum gayantam Premanando daruko nyabhyanandat kamsarate vijane jaina sakshar akshodyanarayatobhyadayi. One day, Daruka, Krishna's chariot driver in Dwarka, he was fanning Krishna. And as he was fanning him, he felt so much ananda, he began to shiver. He became stunned and he began to lose consciousness. But then he realized that this is stopping my service of fanning. So he criticized his own ecstasy. Oh, begone ecstasy. I don't want this. So Braja Gopis, there is no touch of lust at all, or desire for their own happiness, like we discussed yesterday about the babies doing Dohan Kriya, exploiting the parents continuously. So the Madhurya Rasa is the development, higher development of the Vatsalya Rasa, in which Krishna is completely exploiting the Gopis, Dohan Kriya. All of their senses, their entire Vigraha, Anga, the Sri Anga, beautiful forms are completely exploited in every way by Sri Krishna. And the Gopis, this is their life, that they should give just pleasure to Sri Krishna. So Sri Jayadeva Goswami has described that even sometimes the ecstasies of the Braj Gopis, which interrupt their service to Krishna, they're also favorable. And they don't curse them. Pratyuham pulukankarein nividasvaishe nimeshe nava krida kuta vilokate rasudap pana katake libi ananda digamena manmata yudak manmata kala yudapi yasmin abut udbhuta satayo bhuva surataramba Priyam Bhavokaha. When Radha and Krishna are playing together in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan, then they are very eager to embrace. But as they're about to embrace, then Radhika's hairs stand on end so intensely. She becomes like a simile tree, like it's as if so many thorns all over her body. And she's afraid to tightly embrace Krishna because of the roughness of her romancha, her pulak. And so the pulak gets in the way of her embracing. Pratyuha pulakang karena nibidas leishe nimeshe nacha. Radha and Krishna, they want to see each other. That by seeing each other, they will take some hints of what type of play they will do next. But because their eyes are blinking, then the blinking of the eyes interrupts their ability to observe each other's ingits, each other's hints and signals. They feel such ecstasy, so many sanchari bhavs in the heart, that they want to express it by speaking. But at the same time, they want to kiss. But at the same time, they want to say something. And so their speaking, it gets in the way of their kissing and interrupts. Anandadi gamena manmata kata yudepi kala yudepi yasman nabut. And in their loving pastimes, sometimes they become stunned in ecstasy and they cannot move, so that the pastime is on pause for a moment. But even though their own various ecstasies are interrupting their Nikunja Vilas again and again, but still those ecstasies are very dear to them. Why? Because it is a type of Nabi Palambena. You know, separation increases the joy of meeting. So because the ecstasies are interrupting again and again the Nikunja Vilas, therefore it is the amplifying their anticipation. And therefore even these ecstasies become very dear to them. So beautiful pastimes of Radha Krishna take place. No one can in this world imagine. Only Harinam can reveal all of these things. Once such joy of service to Krishna has taken place, if that joy is removed, then the separation is indescribable. So by the arrangement of Yogamaya Devi, Akrura comes to Vrindavan. Why? Because the gopis' ecstasy of love for Krishna became so intense. They could not hide it anymore, even in their homes. They're staying in their homes doing their housework. But the ecstasies are overflowing and it's extremely difficult to hide it. So Krishna thinks, the gopis think, that if we are found out, then there will be a scandal. And this scandal will come to Krishna. We don't want this scandal to come to Krishna. Krishna feels, actually I am ashamed that I cannot reciprocate with their praying. And just as a person who is ashamed covers himself with a cloth, so Krishna will be carried by the waves of his embarrassment that he cannot reciprocate with them to the shore of Mathura. Yogamaya, seeing these various feelings and ecstasies in the heart of Krishna and Braj Gopis, she meditated and she brought Akrura. Akrura came to Vrindavan and took away Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. Krishna was there he killed Kamsa Maharaj, and then his Diksha took place. He received the Brahma Gayatri. And he receives the Upanayan Sanskar, Brahmin thread, from Gargacharya in Mathura. And then it was time to begin his education in Gurukul. So Krishna went quite far away to Ujjain, to Avantipur, and studied in the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. After studying 64 arts in 64 days, then Sri Krishna came back to Mathura. But as soon as he came back to Mathura, what happened? Jarasandha attacked with the thousands and thousands of warriors, more than in the Mahabharata Yuddha. 17 times he attacked. Krishna sent Uddhav to Vrindavan first. Uddhav delivered a message to Braja Gopis Then he came back. Then Jarasandha attacked 17 times. On the 18th time, he came with Kala Yavan. Kala Yavan had another 33 million barbarian soldiers. So all of these soldiers, they surrounded Mathura on all sides in their camps before the attack. And so the Brijbasis, they became refugees. Because they were in all the surrounding area, and they had to leave their homes. They packed up, they put everything in bullock carts, and they left Brajmandal, and they were camping just east of Kamyavan, which is the west of Kamyavan, this far western border of Brajmandal, and they were there. So this was going on, this war, 17 years, 18 years, and in the last attack, then what happened? Mathura was in such danger of being destroyed that in the middle of the night, all the Mathura Basis went to sleep, and when they woke up, they found themselves in a fortified city in the ocean, thousands of miles away. Jogamaya had transferred them to Dwarka. So then that emergency was over, and the Brijbasis could go back to their homes. But now Krishna was not nearby in Mathura. Now he was very, very, very far away. Oh, we're running. I think we ran out of time.
No.
No, we didn't run out of time.
No.
How much time do we have?
All day.
So this is very, very pathetic. See, when Sri Krishna sent Uddhav had a message for Braja Gopis. And this message is the same as a message which is given, we mentioned yesterday, when we're discussing what is Gaudiya Darshan from the Chatusloki Bhagavatam. Uddhav has just seen Radhika going mad in separation from Krishna, speaking with the bumblebee. And then she fainted. So then the gopis came and they put one asan down for Uddhav right next to Radhika. And they all sat around. And Uddhav came with a garland, and it was Krishna's garland. And when Radhika inhaled the fragrance of Krishna's garland, and the Sakhis were saying, "Oh, Radhika," because they thought she was going to die, "Krishna has come, Krishna has come." And she smelled the fragrance of his garland, then she opened her eyes and came back to sense again. And Radhika sat there and said, "Oh, it is not Krishna, but his messenger." So the gopis asked, "Oh, Uddhav, please tell us the messages. What message Krishna has sent for us?" So one of the messages Uddhav said, it is the same as the Chatusloki Bhagavatam verse. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhutetsu javateshanu pravastana pravastani tatateshu nateshaham. As the elements enter into all objects and also exist outside of them, so I am within and without everyone. Gopis were not impressed. What kind of love letter is this? Uddhav, is that all? Is there something else? Is there another one? Show me another. But Krishna had given Uddhav very strict instructions. You should read each message 3 times. So then, again, Uddhav read. Yatavahanti bhutani. This time Gopi said, Krishna is very rasi. He must have some hidden meaning. He thought, oh, just as I am outside, I am also inside everything. And Gopi said, oh, Krishna is telling us that when we have a spurti of Krishna in our heart, in separation, that it's not a spurti. It's really him. That's what Krishna is saying. Uddhav again. Yatavahanti bhutani bhutetsu javateshmanu. Gopis went even deeper. And then they realized, no, that's not what he's saying. Though that's true, but there's something else. And that is, that in Golok Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna are always together, and their aprakat, unmanifest Leela is going on. And when they come to this world, then Sri Krishna has the pastime of leaving, and they're all in separation. And Sri Krishna sends the message that when in your heart you experience meeting with me in separation, even that is not just a spurti of me, but you are experiencing my aprakat Leela. And we are together forever. We are always together. And this separation you are feeling that is one bhav in that Leela. This prakat Leela here is one of the bhavs of Radhika and Braj Gopis from there, which is not visible, but it comes out. This is why Srimad Bhagavatam does not describe Astakali Leela, because by the outer description of Astakali you will never understand. But by manifesting the Prakat Leela, which is the revelation of the inner moods, Jai Sisi Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai, look, they became Prakat. In the Aprakat Leela. Huh? By describing this, one becomes acquainted with the inner ecstasies of Radhika and the Braj Gopis in that divine realm. So then from that moment of hearing Krishna's message, Gopis, they were existing in two states. They would sometimes be absorbed and just enjoying the eternal aprakat nitya lila with Krishna, and sometimes they would come out and then they would weep in separation. They were in this condition until Sri Krishna returned, and then fully they went into the aprakat lila. So there are many. Will I tell? Okay.
Please continue.
Some few points. So time was going on. Do you understand this point? Braj Leela's inner experience is there, eternal Leela there, and this Leela is their bhav from there. But they were thinking, no, this is my life, and this is what is inside is my bhav. But the truth is the other way around. In Krishna's message, he gave them instructions like yoga sadhana. He said, just as a person who is asleep and having a dream, when he wakes up, he still remembers the dream. There's an impression of the dream. But what does he do? By thinking about the objects in the outer world, gradually his remembrance of the dream fades and disappears completely. So a yogi is like that also. The yogi has samskars from the outer world, and every day he's doing sadhana and he goes into samadhi. And gradually the samskars from his samadhi experience, they grow and grow until they become dominant over his experience of the external world. And so by neglecting his worldly sanskars and always staying absorbed in his samadhi experience, he's gradually transferred from the bound state to becoming a siddha yogi, a liberated yogi. So Krishna told this to Braja Gopis, look, don't be upset. You are looking around and seeing that I am gone, I am not there. But in the deep separation you experience that you are with me. So focus on that. If you focus on that, then the rest will disappear and you'll be fully with me. So this was Krishna's message. But when Gopis came back into external consciousness, then they didn't appreciate it and they gave a piece of their mind to Sri Krishna. Especially when they met with him at Kurukshetra. Ahuschatena lilanaba padaravinda yogeshwarari divichincha ragada bodai. Very sarcastically, with biting words, they criticized Krishna for his instructions in yoga. But it is not yoga. Yoga sadhana is speaking about Prem Tattva. So gradually, when the Brijvasis came back from Kurukshetra, then they didn't return to their homes. They camped in the forest of Lohavan. So Lohavan, if you know Brajmandal, I hope that you all have the map of Brajmandal imprinted on your heart. The moon is going like this, and on this side there's the Bhadravan, Bandiravan, Belvan, Lohavan, Mahakobham, Mahavan, and then on this side you have Vrindavan, Madhuvan, Bahulavan, Kalavan, Kamyavan, Kalanavan. Try to have Braj Mandal imprinted in your heart always. So the Brajbasis, they came back and they were on the eastern side of Jamuna, and they camped in the forest of Lohavan, which is just across the river from Mathura actually. So at that time, when Krishna used to live in Dwarka, he would have hundreds of horsemen riding as fast as the wind every day, backwards and forwards between Dwarka and Braja, just to send news there and get the news of Braj back to Dwarka. No email in those days. So he used to have so many horsemen going backwards and forwards, bringing the news. So at that time, the news came that Shalva was attacking Dwarka. And Shalva had an airship, a huge airship, and he was dropping bombs and he was destroying Dwarka. At that time, all the Brajbasis, they were becoming hopeless. Alas, what will happen to Krishna? And they were crying. So at that time, Brinda Devi, she came to Yogamaya Purnamasi. And she said, she was crying and crying. Oh, Purnamasi Devi, I think that there is no hope. There's no hope at all. Can you imagine? You have your most loved person far away in the middle of a war zone. Very difficult. What to speak of Braja Gopis. So Brinda Devi is crying, there's no hope, there's no hope. Purnamasi Devi, her voice was choking, she could hardly speak. She said, because of my lamentation, I have not examined all the issues here. What to speak of, what is going on far away. I'm not even aware of what is right in front of my face. So then Brinda Devi said, wait a minute, you're Yogamaya. You're in charge of all of the Leelas. What do you mean you don't know what's going on? Why are you lamenting or why are you crying? Purnamasi Devi said, but you're also, Brinda, you're also the Leela Shakti. And you don't know what's going on and you're crying also. And Brinda said, oh yes, I'm also the Leela Shakti. Because Yogamaya, Purnamasi, she's the Leela Shakti wholesale of all the rasas. Santa Dasa, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. But because she's an elderly lady, she cannot go close to the young couple Radha and Krishna when they meet because they'll be very embarrassed in front of such a Gurujan, a respectable elder. So Yogamaya Devi has her prakash, her expansion for the speciality of the department of Madhurya Rasa, and that is Brinda Devi. So now, the two aspects of Yogamaya, Leela Shakti, who manage the whole Leela, are both crying that they have no clue what's happening and what's going on next. And each of them becomes surprised. Oh, if you don't know, then who knows? And if you don't know, if we both don't know, then what's... You see, the common person thinks that Ishvaraha, Paramaha, Krishna, Krishna's in control of everything. So then when you become more advanced, then you realize, well, actually no, it's not like that. Yogamaya Devi is in control of everything. And Brinda Devi. But now the Leela has become so intense, the Prem is so intense. Even Purnamasi, Yogamaya Devi and Brinda Devi, they have no clue what's going on and they're crying. Everything has become out of control. So then Brinda Devi said, how did this happen? How did we come to this? Purnamasi Devi said, it's these Brajbasis. They have so much love that even though Krishna is Paramatat, the supreme truth, here in Braja, he forgets himself. He does not know what is going on at all. When Lord Brahma tried to steal the cows, the calves and the boys, really he didn't. Yogamaya hid them. And Krishna was looking, he couldn't find them. He was crying, oh, where's Mansak? Saka, where's Subal, where are you? He didn't know. So Krishna becomes like an innocent and vulnerable child. Why? Because of the prem of the Brajbasis. So Purnamasi Devi, she said to Brinda Devi, this is how it has happened. Because Yasya satsangati pungsa maniva satsakar gunai. Sukula dyatatodinam sayutameva sangsrayet. Our consciousness is like a crystal. If you put a crystal on a blue pillow, it will reflect blue light. If you put it on a red velvet pillow, it will reflect red light. Whomever we associate with, then their consciousness is reflected and we become like that. So Jogamaya Devi and Brenda Devi said, that's what happened. We came here, we became really close to these Brijabasis. And now by the influence of their Prem, all of our knowledge has been covered and even we don't know what's happening. What will happen next? So Purnamasi Devi was crying. Brenda Devi said, if you have no hope, then how will anyone have hope? What shall we do? Then Purnamasi Devi said, last night, when I was in the depths of despair, an unknown person, incognito, in a disguise, he came to me and he gave me a book. And he said, read this thoroughly. And then he disappeared into the night, never to be seen again. Purnamasi Devi said, I can't stop crying, so I could not read it because I have so many tears in my eyes. Oh, Brenda Devi, can you read it to me? So then Brenda Devi, she picked up the book in her hands. The book was glowing. She said, these letters are shining like blue sapphires. And the pages are golden. The cover of the book is decorated with pearls. It seems that this book is Sri Krishna's own Swarup. Because he's sham color like sapphires, he wears golden pitambar, and he's decorated with pearls. Or we can say he's embraced by Srimati Radhika. So Brenda Devi opened the book and began to read. And there she saw. It was a selection of verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's our topic today. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? How great is Srimad Bhagavatam? The return, Krishna's return to Braja is not openly expressed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Sukadeva Goswami is so rasik. He's so rasik. He knows how to light the fire of Prem and inflame it to the highest position. So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, then you see, Alachua has come and taken Krishna away, and then you read the next chapter because you're expecting Krishna's going to come back, right? Well, maybe he'll come back in the next chapter. No? What? And then you keep going, you get to the end. And he still did not come back. So in this way, the Srimad Bhagavatam is manifest by Shukadeva Goswami. No, Bhagavatam is eternal and manifest through Shukadeva Goswami to ignite the fire of Prem and inflame it to the highest point. Yet still, there is a hint of Sri Krishna's return. Brenda Devi read the verse to Purnamasi Devi. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Krishna killed Shalva. So right now the battle's going on and they don't know what's going to happen. I think Krishna's in danger. But here they heard the news. It's an immediate relief. Krishna killed Shalva. And then Dantavakra wanted to fight with him. So Dantavakra went to the gates of Mathura, and Krishna left Dwarka and he went to fight Dantavakra outside and Viduratha outside the gates of Mathura. So now it's getting very close, right? Where are the Brijbasis? They camped in Lohavan. on the other side of the river from Vishwanghat. Purnamasi Devi read another verse. Ayasya iti dautyakai. When Krishna was leaving on the chariot with the Krura, he sent the message, Ayasya iti dautyakai. I will return. Krishna has promised that he will return. When Uddhav came with the messages from Krishna, then was another verse where Uddhav told Braj Gopis, now after killing Kamsa Maharaj, surely Krishna will return. Another ashwasan, another reassurance. At Kurukshetra, Krishna told the Braj Gopis, I stayed away only to protect the Yadus from the demons. And when those few demons, four demons, just a few more are killed, then my responsibilities are done. Implying Krishna will return. So in this way, Brinda Devi was reading one verse after another of Bhagavatam, which was indicating Sri Krishna's return to Vrindavan. Then she read another verse from the first canto, that is spoken by the queens of Dwarka. When Krishna returned to Dwarka, they said, Yaham Bojaksha Pasasara Bhovavan Kurun Madhun Bata Surididrikshaya. Oh Krishna, when you leave Dwarka and you go here and there, then one moment seems like thousands of years. Where do you go? Kurun Madhun Vata Surididrikshaya. Hey, Kurun means you visit the Kurus. Sometimes you go to Hastinapur to visit the Pandavas. There in first canto. Madhun means sometimes you go to Mathura, to Madhuban. Vata Surid, and Surid, sometimes you visit Surid. Here it means Brajvasis. So there in Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned that from Dwarka Krishna went to visit, but he hasn't visited yet. Only they're reading these verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's giving them the hope that Krishna will return. And after killing Dantavakra, Krishna crossed the Jamuna in his chariot, blowing his conch. The Brajvasis heard the sound of the conch. They felt the ground shaking from the rumbling of Krishna's chariot wheels. They saw the dust in the distance rising into the air. They thought, oh, Krishna is coming. Whatever they were doing, they dropped it and they were running as fast as they could. And as they approached the dust, they saw a flag sticking out from the dust. And on that flag was... What was on the flag? Hanuman. Wrong.
Garuda.
It wasn't Arjun coming.
Garuda.
That's not Arjun's flag. Garuda. And they could not see Krishna, only they could see Garuda on the flag. And when the Brajvasis saw Garuda on the flag, then it was confirmed, it really is Krishna. And they felt such intense sattvic bhavs, stumbled, they became stunned, frozen like statues as they were running. But they didn't know. In their hearts they were still running. But their bodies had frozen. In ecstasy, that really Krishna has come back. And Krishna came on the chariot, and then he jumped down from the chariot, and oh, Brajvasis said, they received him. So that's being described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Jayati Janma Nivaso Devaki Janmavado. Jayati Janma Nivaso. That Lord who is Jana Nivas, he comes back to live with the Prayojan. Jayata Jana Nivaso Devaki Janmavado. It's only a theory that he's the son of Devaki. Because he came back to live with his family. Yadupara Parishatswa Dobirashana Dharmam. He has killed the demons through the Pandavas and others and taken away the burden of the earth. And now, Stira Chara Brajinagna Susmita Sri Mukena Prajapura Banitanam Vadyan Kamadevam. All moving and non-moving living entities, even the trees and creepers, their pain of years of separation is completely taken away by his beautiful smile. Krishna has returned. Prajapura Banitanam Bharyan Kamadevam. And the praying of Braj Gopis, Samriddhimat Sambhog, is raised to the highest point. Therefore, Sudavat Krishna Chandraha, when his leela is manifested in this world, it's such a sequence. that the rasa is so relishable. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the best scripture, the highest scripture, is the perfect praman for everything. By this Srimad Bhagavatam, one becomes acquainted with the astonishing nectar of Vipralamba Rasa. Vipralamba Rasa. Without that astonishing nectar of Vipralamba Rasa, then you cannot understand the Sambhog Rasa of the meeting of Radha Krishna. Why? There's some secret in this. Generally, people think of meeting and separation in a series. Yeah? So the gopis are in meeting with Krishna and then they're separated. Maybe while they're separated, they have a spurti of Krishna and they experience as if they're meeting him. But then the spurti is broken. But in whatever varieties it may be, like Prem by Chitya, separation in meeting, or meeting in separation, but it's sometimes meeting and sometimes separation in a series. But Adiruddha Bhav is not like that. The nature of Adiruddha Bhav is that the consciousness has the experience, the full experience of meeting and the full experience of separation at the same time. And this is why Purnamasi Devi has said, Pida bina vakala kuta katata garbasya nirvasano nisyandena mudam sudama durimahankara sankochana Prema sundari nandanandar puro jagati yasyantare jayante sputamasya vakramagaraste naiva vikramtaya. Only those who attain prem, this Adiruddha Bhav, they can know what it is like. It is exactly like the mixture of poison and nectar. This prem, you know that Kalkut Bish, the most deadly poison, is very proud. I can give such pain to others. But when that poison sees the pain of separation, which is experienced by Braja Gopis, even in meeting, then that poison becomes humble. I am useless. Nisyandena vadam sudama durmahankara sankocha. And also Amrita. Amrita that gives joy to the demigods is also very puffed up with a big false ego. But when that Amrita sees the joy that the gopis experience, both in meeting and separation, then that the hankar, the ego of that nectar is destroyed. This prem attacks the heart. And only that person whose heart has been attacked by this prem, they can understand what it's like. Once Parvati, she said to Lord Shiva, Oh Mahadev, can you tell me about the love of Braja Gopis? The love of Srimati Radhika? Mahadev, what can I say? Loka tita majanda kotikam apitrai kalikam yatsukam dukam chaiti pratakdyadi sputam abay tatkats tatakutakam naiva basa tulam shive tadapi tat dvayam api radhika premudyatsu kadu pasindu bhavayas Vindeta Bindorapi. Lord Shiva says, Oh Shiva, he's Shiva and she's Shiva. So Shiva, when you address is Shiva. Oh Shiva, oh Parvati, if you collect all the suffering in the entire three worlds, in not this universe, but in all of the universes, no, in all of the three worlds, in all of the universes, in the past, the present, and all the suffering of the future, and you put it together in one pile and put it there, and then you go and you collect all the happiness in all the three worlds, in all of the universes, in the past, present, and the future, and you put that in another pile and you put it there, then these two piles would not even be equal to one drop or two drops of the happiness and distress that Radhika feels simultaneously, which is like a vast ocean in her Adiruddha Mahabhav. So there's no way, if anyone will tell, oh, Radha Krishna's Nitya Leela is like this, no one will understand. So Supreme Lord has manifested Srimad Bhagavatam to give the insights into the incredible Mahabhav in separation of Braj Gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam to reveal the glories, emphasize the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, because without realizing separation, even one can have no idea what meeting is like, because both bhavs are experienced, not in a series, but at the same time, like nectar and poison mixed together, only in Radhika and her group. Any other group of gopis, they only go up to Ruddha Bhav, not to Adi Ruddha Bhav. Shama is not in Radhika's group because she's very close friends with Radhika. Something is reflected in her, she can experience it also. But others, Tatastha and Vipaksha Sakis, they have no idea. This is the glory of Radhika, the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the special gift of our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matavidam Tatradara Napara. We have the highest respect for his opinion, not for anything else. Nitai Gaur Premanande! Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki!